Listen, I'm going to tell you something most people don't want to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway because someone has to. You're broke. Not because you don't work hard, not because the system is against you, not because you didn't get lucky. You're broke because of the decisions you make every single day. And before you get offended and click away, listen carefully because this might be the most important thing you hear all year. The truth is simple, but it's uncomfortable. Rich people and poor people think differently about money. One group uses money as a tool, the other uses it as a toy. And until you understand that difference, nothing in your life is going to change. I didn't build wealth by accident. I built it by understanding one simple rule that separates people who struggle from people who win financially. Rich people buy assets. Poor people buy liabilities and convince themselves they're assets. That's it. That's the entire game. And today, I'm going to expose the first major mistake that keeps people stuck in the same financial place year after year. But before we go any further, let me say this clearly. This is not about shaming you. This is about waking you up because nobody else is going to tell you the truth. The first thing that keeps people broke is buying brand new cars. And yes, I know this is going to make some people uncomfortable. Good. It should. Buying a new car is one of the worst financial decisions the average person makes, and yet people do it every single day without thinking twice. The moment you drive a new car off the lot, it loses a massive chunk of its value. We're talking 20 to 30% instantly. That money doesn't disappear slowly. It's gone the second the tires hit the road. And it gets worse. Within a few years, that shiny new car has lost half its value. Half. You paid full price for something that's now worth half of what you gave up for it. And somehow, people still convince themselves this was a smart move. But here's the real killer. Most people don't even buy these cars with cash. They finance them. They take out loans with interest to pay for something that is losing value every single day. That's like setting your money on fire and then paying extra for the privilege. Leasing is even worse. Leasing is just renting depreciation. You make monthly payments, you take care of the car, and at the end of the lease, you own nothing. Absolutely nothing. You've spent thousands of dollars and walked away with zero equity. Meanwhile, the dealership made money, the bank made money, and you're right back where you started, broke just with a newer looking car. People always try to justify it. I need something reliable. I have a family. I drive a lot. None of those are reasons to buy brand new. Smart people buy used, reliable cars that someone else already took the depreciation hit on. A 3-year-old car with low mileage does the exact same job for half the price. That's not being cheap. That's being intelligent. When I was building my wealth, I drove cars that weren't impressive. They got me from point A to point B, and that's all they needed to do. I didn't care what anyone thought because I understood something most people don't. Your car does not define your success. Your bank account does. Your investments do. Your financial freedom does. Poor people try to look rich. Rich people focus on becoming rich. And that difference in mindset changes everything. The money you waste trying to impress strangers could be working for you, growing, compounding, building your future. Instead, most people trade long-term freedom for short-term validation. And that one choice sets the tone for every bad financial decision that follows. The next mistake that keeps people trapped financially is even more dangerous because society praises it. People will actually congratulate you for making this mistake. They'll tell you you're doing well while it quietly drains your future. I'm talking about buying too much house. This one destroys more financial lives than almost anything else, and most people never even realize it. From the moment you're old enough to understand money, you're sold a lie. You're told that owning a big house means you've made it, that upgrading to a larger home is a sign of success, that your home is your biggest asset. But here's the truth nobody likes to say out loud. The house you live in is not an asset. It's a liability. And if you don't understand that, you'll stay broke no matter how much you earn. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Your home takes money out of your pocket every single month. Mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, utilities, landscaping, furniture. The bigger the house, the bigger the bills. It never stops. And yet people stretch themselves to the absolute limit just to say they own a big home. They buy the most expensive house the bank will approve them for, as if the bank is doing them a favor. It's not. The bank is setting you up to be in debt for the next 30 years. Here's what most people don't realize. When a bank approves you for a certain amount, that's the maximum they think you can survive paying, not the amount you should be spending. They don't care if you ever get ahead. They care about collecting interest, and interest is where they win. Over the life of a mortgage, you often end up paying hundreds of thousands of dollars more than the purchase price of the home. That's money that could have gone into investments, businesses, or assets that actually produce income. People love to say real estate always goes up. That's only partially true, and it's dangerously misleading. Real estate goes up over very long periods of time and only in certain areas. Even when it does go up, you don't actually benefit unless you sell or borrow against it. And borrowing against it just puts you deeper in debt. Meanwhile, you're paying interest, taxes, insurance, and maintenance the entire time. That's not wealth. That's obligation. The smart move is simple, but most people refuse to do it. Buy less house than you can afford. Live below your means. If the bank approves you for a certain amount, buy something well below that number. Use the difference to invest. Put it into assets that grow, not liabilities that drain you. That extra money invested consistently will outperform the appreciation of almost any personal home over time. Wealthy people understand this. They don't tie up all their money in one oversized house. They keep their living expenses low so their money can work for them instead of against them. They care more about cash flow than curb appeal. They understand that financial freedom comes from flexibility, not from square footage. Most people do the opposite. They buy the biggest house they can, then spend the next 30 years working to pay for it. They become trapped by their lifestyle. And once that happens, every financial decision becomes reactive instead of strategic. That's how people end up stressed, overworked, and stuck. If you want to change your financial future, this is where it starts. Stop trying to impress people with a house you can barely afford. Start building a life where your money works for you instead of controlling you. That shift in thinking alone can completely change your future. The next thing silently draining your money is something almost everyone does without thinking twice. It feels harmless. It feels normal. In fact, it feels deserved, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. I'm talking about constantly eating out, ordering food, grabbing coffee, and spending money on convenience instead of discipline. This one doesn't feel like a problem because the amount seems small. $10 here, $15 there, $20 on a delivery app because you're tired. But this habit quietly destroys your financial future more than almost anything else. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Eating out isn't just expensive. It's financially reckless when done daily. The average person spends thousands of dollars every year on food they could make at home for a fraction of the cost. And the worst part, they don't even remember half of the meals they spent money on. That $15 lunch is gone in 15 minutes, but the money you spent on it is gone forever. People love to say, I work hard, I deserve it. And yes, you do deserve nice things. But you also deserve financial stability. You deserve freedom. You deserve a future where money stress doesn't control your life. And constantly trading your future wealth for convenience is one of the biggest traps people fall into. Let's talk numbers, because numbers don't lie. If you spend just $20 a day eating out, that's $600 a month. That's $7,200 a year. Invested over time, that money could grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Instead, it disappears into drive-through bags and delivery boxes. You're literally eating your future one meal at a time. And it's not just the money, it's the mindset. When you constantly choose convenience, you train yourself to avoid effort. Cooking feels like work. Planning feels annoying. Discipline feels optional. But discipline is the foundation of wealth. Every wealthy person understands delayed gratification. They don't chase comfort. They build systems that serve them long term. This doesn't mean you can never eat out again. That's not the point. The point is intentionality. Eat out because you choose to, not because you're lazy or unprepared. Cook most of your meals, pack your lunch, make your coffee at home. These habits aren't about deprivation, they're about control. When you control your spending, you control your future. Think about it this way. Every dollar you spend eating out is a dollar that could be working for you instead. That dollar could be invested, compounding quietly in the background, growing while you sleep. Over time, those small daily decisions add up to massive differences in your financial life. People say they want to be wealthy, but their daily habits say otherwise. Wealth isn't built through big dramatic moves. It's built through boring, consistent decisions made every single day. And nothing reveals your financial discipline faster than how you handle food spending. If you can master this one area, everything else gets easier. You gain control, you build confidence, you start seeing your bank balance grow instead of wondering where your money went. This is where real change begins.